Hello everybody, thank you for watching. COVID-19 has severely restricted travel and face-to-face interactions. This has meant that IOM's planned activities in our programming had to be restructured and adapted to more virtual formats. This is especially true for our knowledge transfer programs that we run in different countries, connecting diaspora for development, for instance. Within those programs, physical assignments were the standard, although we did have some experience with virtual assignments. This situation has, however, made us reflect more on how we could be as effective as possible in facilitating virtual assignments, and specifically also for countries in which beneficiary institutions perhaps were not so used to working with online exchanges. We thought it best to support the programming by supporting the diaspora experts that undertake these virtual assignments, by giving them some hands-on tips and tricks on how to best adapt their mission to a more online format and to still be successful in knowledge transfer. For this, we've asked two experts in their respective fields to share with us a video message in which they indicate what they think is the most important in this regard. We hope that this will help the diaspora experts in both the preparation and also in the execution of their mission. Of course, IOM will still be available for any guidance or support as needed. Enjoy the video.
Hi there, my name is Wim Nijssen. I'm a trainer in intercultural communication, organizational advice, team coaching, things that have to do with people in organizations. And until now, I did most of my work face-to-face, and that has shifted. It has shifted to a lot of online work. And in this video, I want to share some of my own learning on online training and online coaching with you. And I'm not an expert at this. And I think that makes me the right person to be doing this, because you are not an expert either. And the practicalities that I have come across may be helpful to you in your own sessions and your own online trainings. I've been working online for some time now, and I've experienced some of the differences with face-to-face trainings that I need to pay attention to in order to deliver successful online sessions. And in sharing this with you, I hope you will be able to get the best out of your own online sessions. Now, the thing is also, not being an expert, you will see me doing stuff that you might think, wow, he could have done it better, or maybe he should have done it this way or that way. And I hope you see that as an invitation to improve on your own sessions. I will take you through some content that I have come across and that I would want to share with you. And it's these items. So the following aspects of presenting will be covered in this video. It's being prepared, knowing your platform and its functions, communicating clearly, be comfortable with your own presence, check-ins with your audience, and what I call ditches and glitches. So on being prepared, what I found that is you need to know your session. You need to know beforehand what is going to happen and when it's going to happen. In my face-to-face sessions, I normally check in with people quite regularly and see how things are going. I like to improvise. I like to organize loosely. That's not possible on online sessions. So you need to be prepared. You need to know where you are at what point in time before you start the session. Maybe you want to rehearse it. I've rehearsed this video for a couple of hours before I was happy with it. So going on to the next point is knowing your platform and its functions. Different people use different platforms. At the moment, there's so many platforms. There's Google Meet, there's Zoom, there's Microsoft Teams, there's Skype, there's WebEx. And it doesn't really matter to me what type of platform you use. It is important that you use a type of platform that will support you in your sessions, that will give you the tools and the functions that you need to be delivering a good session. And then it is important that you know what these functions are and how they work. I've experienced an online session a couple of weeks ago where I had to fumble through its functions for more than half an hour, which exasperated my audience, did not do well for my session, and did nothing at all for my self-esteem at that moment. So make sure your platform works for you and make sure it's available to everyone, because people will be logging in with tablets, with PCs, with laptops, with their telephones. Make sure it works, and we'll get to that in a minute. Make sure you know the participants are really on there, and explain to the participants how the functions work for them. So if you know your platform and you know its functions and you've started your session, then it comes down to communication. And communication is rather different online than face-to-face. And what I'm seeing in my online sessions and what I hear from other people is that we treat these sessions like they were face-to-face. And it doesn't work that way. In order to, I'm looking at my notes right now. If you have an online session, first of all, your communication is only verbal and on the screen. Whereas in face-to-face sessions, you get a lot of information from body language, you get information from people interacting with each other, you get your own impressions, and that's all information that works for you. And now, if you're only online, that's all you got. So one thing is speak clearly, listen carefully, maybe speak slower than usual. And there's another thing that I found a bit uncomfortable, is that silences make people go away. People don't like silences anyway, but online silences are devastating for your session. And that comes down to preparation and knowing how things work, so there don't have to be that many silences because you're looking up things or things go wrong and these silences set in. And then there's this part on being comfortable with your own presence. I'm looking at my own screen here now, and I'm thinking, this is the man that I look at in the mirror every morning, but not as much as I do now. And I'm not always comfortable with that. And I see myself and I see how I look, and I'm thinking, sometimes I look really seriously and concentrating, and then I get this frown, and then people think I'm angry. And you might think the same of other people on your screens. The way they look expresses something, but it may not be what you think it is. For me, the only thing that really matters is that you act normally and don't pay too much attention to your own presence. I think we all have this idea that our presence is somehow different online, and actually it's probably not. One thing is that I do get that from experts. Smile a lot, look at the camera instead of up or there, because this is where your attention needs to be. A very important issue as well is checking in with your audience. Your audience, there it is, your audience. Working online is, I found, and I hear from other people, is more tiring is requiring more effort from people than working face to face. And that's partly the thing that I already mentioned, that we get a lot of information from small signals when we work face to face. And now we have to do everything through our hearing and seeing. And it's more tiring. So what you need to be aware of is, do people get tired in these online sessions? And maybe you want to have a short break every 15 or 30 minutes for people to get a cup of tea or to just stretch their legs or walk around the room, whatever they would want to do. But if you do that, tell them maybe to switch off their videos, but don't log off, because then afterwards they need to log on again. And then it might be difficult for them to come back. Also check for understanding, whether people are really understanding what the session is about or what your dialogue is about, and how things are going with them and for them. It's easy for people to kind of disconnect online and maybe have this face that says, oh yes, I understand everything, but maybe they're not connected anymore. I also find that this checking is not something I do normally, because this checking is when in face-to-face meetings, I check for body language, for other non-verbal signals that give me the information that I need. And now this verbal check is something new and unexpected for me as well. And it's something that I need to pay attention to. And I'm guessing you might need to do the same thing. Then there's this last bit on ditches and glitches. Things will go wrong. Electricity, low batteries, internet connection, screens that switch off. Things will go wrong, and the only thing you can do is stay calm, be patient. If help is available, ask for it. Don't start fumbling and stumbling by yourself like I do sometimes. And perhaps in some cases it's necessary to restart the session completely, but that might give you the difficulty of people having to come back completely in the session, and it might take some time as well. But the lesson here is things will go wrong, and yeah, you have to find a way through that. So this is what I wanted to share with you on preparation, on knowing your platform and its functions, on communication and being comfortable with your own presence, checking with your audience, and things that go wrong. And I'm hoping this short talk helps you in preparing and delivering your own sessions in such a way that you can say, well, this was the best session possible for us at this moment. And I'm wishing you a lot of good luck with that. Any questions, you can find my email on the slide. Thank you very much, and good luck, and meet again.
Hi, my name is Regina Quaci, and I've been working together with IOM for a few years. I'm a trainer and a presenter, and I also have a platform called Pin My Village. And with my Pin My Village platform, I help a diaspora who put up projects in their country of origin with training and also with crowdfunding. And I've been working with IOM for a few years, and they have asked me to give you some tips on your virtual assignment. And the tips are about how your communication could be and how you can make sure that your message and the assignment that you're doing and your communication is effectively even using virtual, even because it's virtual now. So I have a few tips. I put them on paper. It's a long list, but I'm going to make it short because I don't want to have you listen for a very long time and try to understand everything. So I'll make it short. Well, I have 5 tips for you. And the first one I want to give you is to make sure that the needs of your target group are clear to you in advance. So get to know your target group. Who is the group of people that you're going to do the assignment for? How do they listen? What are their interests? Are they active on media like WhatsApp, or how do they think? Their mindset is really important. And of course, the cultural differences that will come in every tip I have, the cultural differences are very important. So make sure in advance you get to know the people that you're going to do a training for. You can also call them. Sometimes when I do a training, I really want to know the people before, and I call some people to ask questions about what they are expecting from me and what they need in information, and how I need to communicate my information, what media or means of communication I should use that they are comfortable with. So make sure you know your target group beforehand. And then prepare your message that you want to bring across carefully. Make sure you always think about one thing when you're communicating something, that you are the sender of the message. In between is like a box, and that's the communication box. And then there is the interpretation of your target group. How do they interpret your message? What do they think about what you're saying? Do they understand your message? If you want to learn something to people and want to teach them something, make sure that you check if they really understood what you're trying to teach them. So always make sure that you think about how you're sending your message and what means of communication you're using to send this message. Does that fit with them, does video fit with them, or is the group that you need to call? What do they want? What do they need? So prepare the message as good as you can. And the third tip I want to give you is make sure you have a good distribution of your theory, interaction, and media. Because it's quite tiring for people like you're listening to my long story now. It could be quite tiring, So make sure that you use video, but you also use other ways of interaction. And also ask them their opinion. What do they think about what you just said? If you're saying something and the group is listening, it's nice if you have some interaction. It's not only nice, it's quite important. And ask them things. What do you think about this? Or who thought about that? That's important. So make sure they are also interactive, and make sure, of course, again, that you use the right means of communication. Then the fourth point I want to say, a tip actually, is try to do a few webinars if you are going to choose for a webinar, and not only one. So make sure you're not doing just one session to teach them something, but use more sessions. And make sure that the information is, the quality is better than the quantity. So just be brief in your information sometimes. That's better than to have a whole long story, because people will forget half of what you have said. So it's better to split up your information and also the assignments, and do more sessions so you can really connect with the people and your students and the people you're teaching something. So if you see each other more often, you get a bond with each other and you get to know them, and you know what they need to hear from you or what you need to give them to teach them something. Well, and then the last point I want to say, the last tip I have for you is, it's really important to realize the intercultural differences or the cultural differences, because the West here in Holland and the economical situation is different here than in Africa, and the way of thinking and working is different here than there. So really consider this when you're doing a training. Make sure that people trust you. Make sure they feel okay with you, and they don't see you as a threat or something, but they trust you and they want to get to know you.